सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। अद्यतनं संस्कृतवाणी कार्यक्रमार्थम् आगतवन्तः सर्वेभ्यः कृते स्वागतं व्याहरः। अद्यतनं श्रीमती मातंगी महोदय सञ्चालिरूपेण अस्ति। सा आचार्य अस्ति। सा संस्कृतेन गोविन्द परीक्षाम् उत्तीर्ण अस्ति. She has specialized in SEN education and taught for special needs children. She is a volunteer in many religious and social activities to promote our culture. Mathangi Mahoday, please take that.
Namaskaram, Shubha Sandhya, Dhanyavadaha Vishali ji. Samskritavani Karyakrame Sarvesham Swagatam. Ishvara Bhaktihi Asmat Samyak Margam Pratineti Ishvara Prarthanam Kritva Shantam Mana Prapyati. Kumari Niranjana Prarthana Geet गाएगा. कुमारी निरंजना हिंदू कॉलोनी चल्लम्माल विद्यालय में चतुर्थ स्तर का अध्ययन कर रहा है. She is a devoted student of Srimati Vishakha Hari, now learning music from Mrs. Kalpalatika Ravishankar. She has performed Harikatha in topics such as Purandaradasar Charitam, Prahlada Charitam, Guru Mahima, Jnanabai Charitam, Andal Kalyanam, Panduranga Mahimai. Has good interest in painting, drawing and craft. Swagatam Niranjana.
Swagatam, namaskaram. Vallabha nayakasya 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 Bhavami Manchitartadayakasya Paramushikavahanasya Vallabha nayakasya Pallava padam mridudarasya 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 Pashankushadi tarasya Mallika jati chumpaka harasya Manimalahasya Palli vivaha karanasya Palli vivaha karanasya Guru Guha pujitasya Kali kalamalini Kamanakshi sannutasya Deem takitajam kamariga Deem takitajam kamariga Takadimi takadundali Dapasata dinginatum Nini dapasata dinginatum Vallabha nayakasya Bhavami Manchitartadayakasya Paramushikavahanasya Vallabha nayakasya
Sundaram Swaram Pratipadanam Cha Uttamaha Uchcharanah. What a beautiful start, Niranjana. Since the day we start hearing your recitation and singing during the Vinayaka Chaturthi celebrations, we all had become a die-hard fan of you. What a matured voice, powerful voice, and flawless performance. You had started this program with a beautiful voice. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha, Niranjana. Subhashitana nihitam naitikam cha upadesham lokika prajna nirdesham dharma karma karanam cha marga darshanam cha kritva prasiddhanam santi. Shri Ramakrishnan will present Subhashitam, economic graduate and accounts officer by profession, a great war veteran, an aircraft technician, student of Tamil, Gita and Atma Vidya classes. Swagatam Ramakrishnan ji.
Hello.
He can hear you. Please continue.
Adevayam, Dve Subhashitani Padami. Both are interconnected. Small. I will do it within 5 minutes. Chaya manyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayam atape. Chaya manyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayam atape. Palanyapi parartaya. Palanyapi parartaya. Vrikshaha satpurushayava. Samskrita bhashayam asya arthaha. Vrikshaha swayam atape stitva api anyasya krite chaya prayachanti. Palan swayam na kadanti apito anyasya krite dadati. Tataha vrikshaha satpurushanam sadrusanam eva. The trees, they stand in the hot sun. They get the heat from the sun. They bear it with patience and they convert the energy as fruit. The leaves and the branches, they give shade to others. They produce flowers and fruits. So they provide shade, building material and fruits by bearing the heat of the sun. Therefore, the trees can be compared to noblemen who always suffer to do service to the common man. Dvitiya Subhashitani. Kusumastabakasyeva dvayi vriddhirmanasvinaha. Kusumastabakasyeva dvayi vriddhirmanasvinaha. Murdriva sarvalokasya visiryate vane tattva. In the same way, the flowers, the bunches, they blossom wherever it is. It may be in the city or it may be in the forest. The flowers that blossom in bunches in the forest, they give good fragrance. Colorfully, they are beautiful. Anyone happens to see that, they derive happiness. It is a source of honey. So whoever sees, they are very happy. So the fragrance is there. This is all for a day. And by evening, they fade out. Therefore, the purpose of a flower is to give happiness. And by night, silently they die off. So this is also comparable to the noblemen and great men who do great service to the humanity. They are unnoticed, they are behind the scene, but they do every service to the humanity. Dhanyavada.
A worthy and meaningful message, Ramakrishnan ji. Dhanyavadaha. श्रीमती कीर्तना स्वागतम संबोधन प्रस्तुत करेंगे. Srimati Kirtana had completed PG MBA, completed Samskrita Bharati exams fully, now doing MA Sanskrit, has 6 years teaching experience in Samskrita Bharati. Swagatam Srimati Kirtana.
धन्यवादः आनन्द। नमः सभाये वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तपतिपत्तये जहतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। अस्मिन् शुभवेलायाम् अत्र वयं संस्कृतवाणी कार्यक्रमे सम्मिलिताः स्मः। शुभवेला एषा। अत्र आगतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः अद्यतन मुख्य अतिथये च हार्दिकं स्वागतं निवेदयामि। श्री अभिनव कदम्बी महोदयः यः तर्कशास्त्रम् अधिकृत्य अत्र वक्तुकामाः अस्ति तस्मै महोदयाय विशेषं हार्दिकं निवेदयामि। डॉक्टर एस सुश्रुता महोदयः यः भगवद्गीताम् अधिकृत्य अत्र वक्तुकामाः अस्ति तस्मै महोदयाय विशेषं हार्दिकं निवेदयामि। अत्र सञ्चालिकारूपेण आगतवती अस्ति श्रीमती मातङ्गी भगिनी। स्वागतं भगिनी। प्रार्थनां वक्तुम् आगतवती निरञ्जना विघ्नेश। सुभाषितं वक्तुं श्री एन् रामकृष्णन् महोदयः। श्लोकं वक्तुं कौस्तुभ निर्भा। धन्यवादः वक्तुं कुमारी सावित्री श्रीनिवासन। शान्तिमन्त्रं वक्तुं शिवकुमार महोदयः। एतेषां कृते अपि स्वागतं व्याहरामि। दृष्टुकामाः भूत्वा ये निरीक्षिकाः ये सम्मिलिताः सन्ति तेभ्यः मम हार्दिकं स्वागतम्। संगीतशास्त्रकलासु विहीनः न वयं सर्वे अपि शास्त्रकलासु निपुणाः इति निरूपयितुम् एतादृश कार्यक्रमः सर्वदा प्रचलन् सन्ति। तादृश कार्यक्रमः अस्ति संस्कृतवाणी कार्यक्रमः। अत्र भागं स्वीकर्तुं सर्वेषां स्वागतं कर्तुं च यथेष्टम् आनन्दम् अनुभवामि। पुनः सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतं स्वागतं स्वागतं। धन्यवादः।
अतिथिं प्रतिभागिनं च स्वागतस्य भवतः मार्गं बहु प्रशंसितं। धन्यवादः कीर्तना जी।
धन्यवादः।
भगवद्गीता पठनेन भक्ति नैतिकमूल्यानि प्राप्यन्ते सत् जीवनं जीवितुम्। Dr. Sushrutha will give the lessons from Bhagavad Gita. Assistant Professor at Amrita University, Coimbatore, has done PhD in Yoga and Yajna, studied Veda Vedantam from traditional Gurukulam system. Swagatam, Dr. Sushrutha ji.
Om पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितामुनिना मध्ये महाभारत भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्। It was very nice to hear singing from Niranjana, and we are going ahead with the content and its analysis of Bhagavad Gita. Also, not just to understand, also to implement it as much as possible. And it is very well structured in our Shastras. Jnatva karmani kurvita. If you do something, only you should understand and do it. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, we will not be able to sort it out properly. Therefore, even you do puja, even you cook something, even you teach, whatever you do, Jnatva karmani kurvita. Jnanam prapya yat kinchit karma kartavyam iti niyamena uchyate shastreshu. Ataha, so this very context continues along with all the Shastras. And this is very, very evident. If any Shastra is going against our common experience, then it should be eradicated as well. That is the Viveka that Shastra gives. If something is against completely of your thinking, your thoughts, your experiences, so something beyond will not be accepted. So this is what is our cultural value. Unless something is questioned, unless something is understood, we will not accept it as is. Probably we will see this very approach of accepting something and believing said by someone without understanding. Okay, this is Abrahamic approach. So there are many beliefs. In our culture, there are beliefs only when they are tested, when they are referred to our own practical experiences. So this being very fundamental nature of all the Shastras, all the tradition, the third chapter provides a link of what does it mean and how to correlate all the things that we do. So prior discussion was on what is karma and how it becomes inevitable, unavoidable for every individual born as a human being or otherwise. It's given, you cannot avoid it. But now the question comes, what kind of action one has to choose? This is very, very critical, because we all want to do something and we cannot be done away with any all kinds of actions. We have to do, but the challenge is in choosing what one wants to do in life. Therefore, the next section of third chapter is dedicated only for that, which starts from Niyatang Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyayo Hyakarmanaha Sharira Yatra Pichate and Aprasidhyed Akarmanaha. This is the 8th shloka. Here onwards, Krishna elaborates what can you perform in your life to get rid of the bondages. Okay? The very critical, the Viveka here is, in order to get rid of the bondages of karma, one has to perform the action, one has to perform the karma. So without performing karma, you cannot get rid of it. This is the critical point. So how are you claiming, Are, if you do karma, you will be born more. The bondage will increase, the intensity of bondage of karma will increase. There is a small section within this karma. You keep doing karma, then it leads to Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi is the goal of every karma. Whether doing puja, whether teaching, whether learning, all the actions come under only for this purpose. The purpose of performing all the karma is Chitta Shuddhi. So when this Chitta Shuddhi happens, then the very next step is the automated promotion to Jnana Marga. Therefore, we have two margas generally defined in Shastras. One is Karma Marga, the other one is Jnana Marga. So as you know, Adi Shankara stood for Jnana Marga. Then he claimed Jnanadeva tu Kaivalyam, Jnanameva Kaivalyam Kadachita. Then you know the argumentation that he had with Mandana Mishra, and Ubhaya Bharati came and said, you know, this is the discussion goes on and on. However, the karmas are said and given with the purpose of Chitta Shuddhi. If any karma, doing puja or doing meditation, doing spiritual sadhana, all the actions, if they are not reducing ahankara, and if they are not cleansing the chitta, it is all infutile. It has no value. So value proposition of any karma, any action is only Chitta Shuddhi. So for this Chitta Shuddhi to happen, what kind of karma one has to perform? Karma is unavoidable, but what kind is the question. So he goes with the very next shloka. Yajnarthat karmanah anyatra lokaha ayam karma bandhanaha. Unless you perform every karma with an attitude of yajna, it becomes the factor of bondage. Means every other action other than yajna is a binding factor. It binds you. Then you may ask, should we do yajna every day? Should we do yajna from morning till evening? Yes, he says yes. But the meaning of yajna, we have to little extend and expand. Our understanding of yajna is, putting things into the fire, like ghee, some holy materials, and, something like that. So, this is what actually general understanding of yajna that we all have. But what he says, what Shastra says, yajna has three meanings. The word yajna has these fundamental three meanings. One is Deva Puja, then Sangatikarana and Dana. Deva Puja, Sangatikarana and Dana. Deva Puja is the worship of Devata. Then you may ask how many Devatas, there is a long conversation in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. How many Devatas are there? Then a Rishi asks how many Devatas. Another Rishi says there are 33 crores of Devatas. Then the same Rishi asks how many Devatas. Then he says there are 33 Devatas. Then again same question. So they iterate to the level of there is only one. Adhyardha, there is 1.5, and one, that is Brahma. So when you look at the Vedic literature, you will get the 33 Devatas. Which are those 33 Devatas? Dwadasha Aditya, Ekadasha Rudra, Ashtavasu, Indra and Prajapati. These are the 33 Devatas. Rest of all the Devatas that we see, Lakshmi, Ganesha, Vishnu, Brahma, Kumara, Surya, all the things are derivations of these 33 Devatas and their extension. For example, when we say Agni as Devata, Surya is one of the manifestations. Okay, the kitchen fire that we cook every day, that becomes yet another manifestation. So Agni is the main principle, and rest of it is all becomes its manifestation. Therefore, all the Devatas that we have in our culture are manifestations of these basic Vedic Devatas named Trayastrimshat Devataha. So 12 Adityas, Ekadasha Rudra, and Ashtavasu, Indra and Prajapati. So this Deva Puja is called Yajna. It is not just means putting ghee and samidhas into the fire. Even Deva Puja is also Yajna only. And since we belong to the great tradition, divine tradition called Sanatana Dharma, in spite onslaught even today, the many politicians and many people claim this has to be eradicated. With all that, we stand and say, this is what we do. We perform yajna in the form of puja. So this is the first meaning of word yajna. And the second one, Sangati Karana. In fact, the whole understanding that we have about yajna is putting the ghee into the fire. This is a very unique and technical aspect of our culture. See, simple example that I want to give. Our body, the physical body requires energy, right? How do we supply our energy? If we want to supply our energy, will you take the rice and paste it on your skin? No, we do not do that. We have a system within our body to digest, to convert the raw into refined materials in the form of energy, and it is supplied through circulatory system. So we have a system supplied within our physical body. Hence, we do not have any system to connect our physical world called Manushya Jati, Manushya Prani, with the Devatas. Generally, Devatas are called as Agni Pradhana Deha, meaning their bodies are Agni Pradhan. There are three fundamental elements. This Prithvi and Apaha and Agni. Okay, all our bodies, humans and animals and all the other creatures have Prithvi as main ingredient. Okay, this is the difference between us and all the other devatas. Okay, devatas, their bodies are made up of Agni Pradhana Deha. Their bodies are made up of Agni. And this yet another, there is category called Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha, Yaksha, Gandharva, Kinnara, Kimpurusha. No, there is a big list that lies in between Devatas and Manushyas. And their bodies are made up of Vayu Pradhana Deha. So Prithvi Pradhana Deha, Vayu Pradhana Deha and Agni Pradhana Deha. So when we have this very distinction between these three worlds, Manushya and other pranis, and Devaloka, we need some system to convert all the materials into the suitable way that Devatas can take. So we offer, and Agni is said to be Devamukha. Devamukha means it consumes everything and offers to respective Devatas. If we are doing Kubera Yaga, then through Agni, Kubera receives what? Through Agni, the Vayu, through Agni, Vishnu. So Agni is the main Devata. Even in Rigveda, that is Agnimi, Ide, Purohitam, Yajnasya, Devam. This is the starting mantra, and it is said, even the ending mantra of Rigveda is also Agni. So Agni is very, very main Devata. So to connect the rest of the Devatas, we need some system, some technique, some tool, some means to connect. So this connecting process is called the Sangatikarana. Sangatikarana is while you offer things that is converted into energetics and reaches the respective Devatas. This is also the second meaning of word Yajna. The third meaning is Danam. Danam is charity. You give, you share, whatever, not just extra, but you have to consider Atmavat Sarva Bhutani. Everyone has, every human being, not just human beings, even the animals, all the other pranis also are like you. So whatever you have, you need to share. This is called Danam, is not just giving, but sharing. There is a difference between giving and sharing. Okay, sharing has much more close intimacy attached. Giving is just giving away sometimes. Okay, you have no responsibility what happens next when you give. So Deva Puja, Sangatikarana and Dana are the three things meant by word Yajna. And Krishna says, Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. You do everything in the form of Deva Puja and Sangatikarana and Dana. This alone action will get you away of the load of karma in the life. Therefore, we unknowingly do it. Okay? We never say we are doing yajna while doing puja. We say we are doing puja, but that means yajna only. And how does anyone do puja? Meaning, if puja is not actually related to just Devata, but it is called bhakti. Okay, a bhakti is just you offer, you be part of something. Okay, when you have bhakti towards some Devata, it is you are dedicating a thing. So if I worship the values, practicing the values is the worship of Devata. If my parents are Devatas, looking after them, even when they are young, even when they are old, it is immaterial. So looking after them is the puja. So the part of respect is called puja. So with this, we will continue in the next series as well. What is the wider aspect of yajna and how it can be extended to all the activities that we do. Only change that we require is the change in attitude. So that we will discuss in the next session upcoming. Okay, so dhanyawada for giving opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Sushrutha. It's always a blessing for us to hear your speech every program, because you reinforce the values of life very well. The biggest, the most admiring thing what I feel is even a normal person can understand what you're saying. That is a very important thing. When you're conveying a message, it should reach everyone, and we are able to understand it so clearly. And thank you so much. And we are so happy to have you in our program always. Thank you, sir. Dhanyavadaha. Shloka japaha asman paritaha nakaratmaka spandanat muktim praptum sahayam karoti. Kaustubh Narwa is studying at Abhinav Waldorf School. He is learning music from Srimati N.K. Hemalata Aiyer. Had taken part in Kartikeya Kalakshetra music competition and won second prize. Has interest in playing tennis, swimming, and reading books. Swagatam, Kaustubh. Kaustubh?
Can you hear me?
No?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, yes.
Today, my name is Kaustubh. I'm studying in the Abhinav school. Today I'm going to present Adhanarishwa Ashtakam. Ambodara Shabala Kuntalaye Tate Prabha Kamajatadaraya Girishwaraya Nikhileshwaraya Namah Shivayescha Namah Shivaya Pradiptaratno Jwala Kundalaye Spuran Mahapannagabhushanaye Shiva Priyayescha Shiva Priyaya Namah Shivayescha Namah Shivaya Mandara Mala Kalitalakaye Kapala Malankita Kandaraya Divyambaraya Isha Digambaraya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Kasturika Kumkumale Padaye Smasana Basmata Vile Padaya Kruta Smaraye Vikruta Smaraya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Padara Pita Hamsakaye Padabja Rajat Vaninu Puraya Kalamaya Vikalamaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Prapancha Shushtum Mukalasakaye Samasta Samharakatandavaya Eshadaye Vishanijanaye Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Prafulla Nilotpala Lochanayai Vikasa Punkeroha Lochanaya Jagat Jananye Jagate Kapitre Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Andar Bahi Shodva Madnasya Maye Purasya Paschasya Vidikikshu Dikshu Sarvam Gataye Sakalam Gataye Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Addanarishwa Stotram Upamanyurutam Tvidam Yapate Shunyadapi Shivaloka Bahiyate. Thank you.
First, Dhanyavadaha Srimati N.K. Hemalata ji for teaching this beautiful shloka. I think it's all a rare shloka, even we don't know. Very happy that kids are coming up with this. And Uttama Prastuti Kaustubh. Excellent rendition as usual. And Spashta Ucharana, such a good pronunciation. And this is the most happiest thing a Guruji can have in her life. That the student is performing so well in front of everyone. Always, whenever I see Kaustubh, I used to think, what a confidence level you have. You are playing actually, lying down and playing. And see, when it comes to performance, you wake up and so nicely you have sung. Can you understand, Kaustubh, what I'm saying? Thank you, Kana. Thank you so much. And thank you, Hemalata ji. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for your kind blessings, ma'am. I need always your blessings to be showered on the children.
Dhanyavadaha, Kaustubh.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity given.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Kana. Okay. We are all excited to know about an interesting topic, Tarka Shastra, a strong base for life. Asmakam Atithi, Dr. Abhinav Kadambi, Swagatam Krutva Ativa Prasannata. Dr. Abhinav Kadambi is a 7th generation paternal descendant of Yogi Shri Madhibante Ramadhyani Kadambi, Srinivas Tatachar Swami of Tumkur, and is the Dauhitra of Maha Mahopadhyaya, Patrakara Shironmani, freedom fighter, linguist, Sahitya Academy Award-winning author and translator Dr. Tirumala Ramachandra Swami. He is an MTech in medical nanotechnology, has completed MA Sanskrit. He has studied the basics of Samskritam as a student of Shri O.R. Devanathan Swami, Head of Department PG and Research Development of Sanskrit Presidency College. He is a traditional Nyaya Shastra student of Nyayaratna, Nyaya Shironmani, Shri Dr. Jammal Madaka Surya Narayana Shastriji. He is a student practitioner of Yoga Shastra in the tradition of Yogacharya, Shri Tirumala Krishnamacharya Swami. He is currently a PhD research scholar in Sanskrit. He also transcribes manuscripts and translates from and to Sanskrit. He is associated with Shri Parankusa Swami Mat at Surpur near Yadagiri, Karnataka. Such a proud moment for us, Dr. Abhinavji, to have you in today's program. And we are very, very happy to invite you. On behalf of Samskrita Vani members, I wholeheartedly welcome you for today's program. Swagatam ji.
Thank you so much. I'm still struggling to finish my PhD thesis, but you've given me a doctorate before I finish. So hopefully it will be made good soon. Let's see. So anyway, I have a presentation, PowerPoint presentation to share. So I'll share that. यद्यपि संस्कृतेन एतत् सर्वं वक्तुं शक्यते, तथापि सर्वेषाम् अवगमनार्थं विश्वप्रसिद्धया भाषया इदानीम् आङ्ग्लभाषया सर्वं क्रियते. सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः. इदानीं वयं प्रारभामः. So the topic we have for the presentation is Tarka Shastra, a strong base for life. It might seem a little unexpected because the word Tarka has been used in a different context in everyday conversation. We understand that the word Tarka, at least in the Indian languages that are currently prevalent other than Sanskritam, when the word Tarka is used, we simply assume that it refers to mindless debating, continuously debating without having anything else other than being argumentative. So usually this word is used by the parents to talk about the child who is not listening and constantly questions, or maybe a person may refer to another person saying that this person is very argumentative, he is doing a lot of tarka. In reality, the word tarka has a different contextual meaning, and in fact the word tarka I have deliberately used here in order to create that suspense, of course. But anyway, let us move ahead and then we'll see how it all goes. So we'll start with the prayer. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Shri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. It might seem rather illogical to use Shri Krishna as the Devata here for our Mangalacharana, but we must remember that Shri Krishna is one of the greatest diplomats that we know of. He was a great Duta. He was a diplomat who was sent by the Pandavas to the Kauravas in order to think about what to do to resolve the problem that they have. So when Krishna was chosen as the Duta, Pandava Duta, we understand that he was a great diplomat, and he was a skillful diplomat because he had already mastered all the kalas, all the shastras. In fact, even before he went to Sandipini Gurukulam, he had already understood everything and he was already practicing it. And he, just for the sake of being there, he stayed there for 64 days and studied all the kalas and came. This is what they are saying. This is also reflected in the Arthashastra of Chanakya, where he talks about Acharya Chanakya Kautilya. He talks about the importance of studying Nyaya Shastra or Tarka Shastra. In fact, there's an entire entire chapter which is dedicated to the concept of debate and how to analyze a text, which is given towards the end of the Arthashastra Grantha. So if you want to study more about this, you can actually see that. He talks about the concept of Tantra Yukti. I'll not be talking about Tantra Yukti here. I'm only here to give you a taste of what Tarka Shastra is. So when we enter into Tarka Shastra for today's presentation, we will have only this as the agenda. Of course, there's a lot to cover, and I am not a great scholar. So I will only be presenting part of what I have studied or what I have understood, what I have analyzed and synthesized. So these are the topics which we will be covering. We'll be talking about Homo sapiens being Manishi, 3 sections, that is observing the world, conceptualizing it, and then representing it. And then finally, we'll move towards conclusions. It might seem like it's a very simple topic. In fact, it is one of the most important things which we don't pay much attention to. If we manage to master this, we will understand that we are very successful in life. So we will be covering all this. So the first topic is Homo sapiens or Manishi. The word Homo sapiens is generally used to refer to human beings. Currently, the biological name is Homo sapiens. If you look at the biological classification, we are classified under Homo, that is the genus, and sapiens is the species name. In fact, the subspecies name is also sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens is the actual complete scientific name, where the genus, species, and the subspecies of us is mentioned. And I use the word Manishi here. You will understand why I have used this word Manishi and what this word Manishi means in the first place. So before we move ahead, we should understand that Buddhi, the Dhi Shakti that we have, the great intellect that we have, is considered to be the great demarcator when it comes to looking at how we are. So ahara nidra bhayamaithunancha samanyameta pashubhir naranam buddhirhi tesham adhiko visheshaha buddhya vihinaha pashubhis samanaha. So there's another parallel reading which says dharmo hi tesham adhiko visheshaha dharmena hinaha pashubhis samanaha. I mean, that's a different rendering that is used when you are talking about Buddha system, and also when they're talking about Dharma Shastra. We will not be talking about that. We will be talking about this rendering, this version, where they are giving buddhi and buddhya instead of dharmaha and dharmena. So here, ahara nidra bhaya maithunancha. Ahara means the act of eating. Nidra means the act of sleeping. Bhaya here refers to the act of fearing. Maithunam, this is very clear. This is the act of physical attachment, that is the part of procreation. So this physical union, this is what is meant by maithunam. So ahara nidra bhaya maithunancha, all of these are samanyametat pashubhir naranam. This is something that is common to pashu, here referring to all the other creatures, as well as narana for humans. Buddhirhi tesham adhiko visheshaha. But the only thing that demarcates us from the other creatures, other animals, that is Vipad, Chatushpad, and all these different beings, is buddhi. Buddhya vihinaha pashubhis samanaha. Without the buddhi, we are as good as pashus. So this is what is being meant here. Of course, you may find parallels in the Tantra Shastra where they're talking about pashu bhava, and then Veera bhava, Daiva bhava. All those are there. All those are fine. We're not going into those details. We're only looking at this concept of buddhi, the intellect being the most important faculty that we have. The intellect is so important for us because everything that we do, from the moment we wake up till the moment we sleep, we are using our intellect for deciding everything. Decision making is a very important aspect of our life, not only for spiritual activities, but for everyday normal worldly activities as well. So when we talk about the importance of buddhi or intellect, it is very clear that this is something to do with all human beings. It is so important for all human beings that we cannot do without it. And when we move ahead, we see that the word sapiens in Homo sapiens sapiens comes from the word in English, which is typed as sapiens. And if you look at the dictionary meaning for the word sapiens, it's always referring to wisdom, knowledge, reason, or intellectual faculty, intelligence. All of these words, understanding, common sense, insight, all these different words are being referred to when you use the word sapiens. So clearly, the entire species is demarcated, or rather, it is standing apart in the entire list of all organisms that are still surviving on Earth based on their ability to think and execute things properly. So this intellectual faculty, this intelligence is what tells us that we are somewhat advanced compared to other beings. I'm not going to talk about the importance of human beings or how the other beings are not good enough. All these different ethical questions I will not be dealing with because that is all speciesism. So we will not talk about that. But anyway, coming back to the concept of sapiens and how it is related to Manishi, we see that the word Manishi is derived from the word Manisha. Manisha is Manasaha Isha, Gamanam. So it refers to Buddhi. So in Shabda Kalpadruma, one of the Kosha Granthas, we see that Manisha is defined as Manasaha Isha, Manasaha Gamanam. The movement of the mind, movement of Manas is called Manisha, and it's synonymous with the word Buddhi. And the word Manishi, which is used to refer to intelligent people, Manisha Asti Asya Iti Manishi, Buddhi Yukte. In Shabda Kalpadruma itself, again, we see the word Manishi being defined as one who has Manisha, one who has Buddhi. So Buddhiman is the word that is used when you talk about Manishi. So of course, if you go to Amara Kosha, we see that Vidwan Vipaschid Doshagnyas Sansudhi Ko Vido Buddha Dhiro Manishi Gnyas Pragnyas Sankhyavan Panditah Kavihi. All the shlokas there, which refers to Manishi as the word as synonymous with Vidwan, Dhira, Kovida, Buddha, Jna, Pragnya, Sankhyavan, Pandita, Kavi, all these words are used. Interestingly enough, the word Sankhya here is used to refer to that same concept of Buddhi. So if you look at the Bhagavad Gita, which is being presented here by Sushrutha ji, You will notice that the word Sankhya and Yoga is also used in the Bhagavad Gita, and there this word Sankhya has been defined differently by different acharyas. In fact, here Sankhya is used to refer to Buddhi. That's the important factor here. So anybody who is intelligent is considered to be the one who is dealing with Sankhya system directly. Anyway, not going back into those nitty-gritty details, the word Homo sapiens directly refers to Manishi, assuming that all of us are intelligent enough. So what is the general tendency of all creatures? Understanding the world. Whatever is outside, whatever is inside, I want to know. This is a very basic tendency. It's an instinct that is very common to all of us. And this instinct is maximum in Homo sapiens. This instinct is maximum for our entire species. We are very curious all the time. We want to know what is happening outside. We want to know what is happening inside. When I say inside, I'm not talking only about the body. I'm also talking about the mind. So when we talk about the outer world and the inner world, we see that there are two different models that we have to be aware of. The outer world means going from the quarks, the subatomic particles, to atoms, to molecules, to the cosmos. So the entire range of possibilities is being explored in the outer world. When we talk about the inner world, again, the Anna, Prana, Manas, Vijnana, and Ananda. These are all the different koshas that we're probably aware of because Bhagavad Gita is being explained here. So this is something that is very interesting for us because this is a basic instinct that we all have. Human beings have the basic instinct of wanting to know everything that is there. We want to know everything. We want to manipulate everything so that, the word manipulate here does not mean we want to change it because I have an intention of ill will. Here, the word manipulate means to change the outcome. I want to change the way something behaves. That is what is meant by the word manipulate. So, I know something that is outside or inside. Now, I know I want to predict. I create a model inside me which is going to predict what is going to be the outcome. After I know what the outcome is, now I have a good model with me. Now I want to change the outcome. So, this is a basic tendency. Once I know how a car works, a toy car works, say, for example, a child has a toy car with him. The moment the child understands how the toy car works and is able to predict exactly how the toy car is going to move by moving the different parts of the toy car, the child will want to change the outcome and say, okay, what if I remove the rubber on this tire? How does it move? What if I change the exact way the door is open in this car? How will it move? So the child has this tendency. This is the same tendency which we exhibit even after we grow up. Throughout our lives, we are doing the same thing. We want to know something. We want to predict the outcome. After we know how to predict the outcome, we want to change the outcome. That's all. The entire life, a human being is doing the same thing. So this is what we want to understand when we are studying philosophy. This is what we are doing when we're trying to study psychology. All subjects, all aspects of human endeavor are related to the same principle, the same tendency of wanting to understand the world, predict what is going to happen, and change the way the outcome is going to be. This is all that we want to do. So, when we want to understand the world, we are going to look at the ideal scenario, the ideal model which we are going to use, the scientific method, where we are going to first look at the observations. We are just going to make observations of the world, inner world or outer world. Then we are going to think of interesting questions. And then we are going to formulate a hypothesis. So what will happen if I do this? What will happen if I don't do this? And then we are going to develop testable predictions. So now we are going to predict, okay, this is what is going to happen, or this is not going to happen. And then we gather data to test the prediction. How do we gather data? We actually experiment. We test it. So it's like a lab, not just lab which you can find in some big corporate company, or some kind of a laboratory in a college or a university or a school, but I'm talking about the world itself. The world itself is our lab. We try to develop testable predictions by experimenting in the world directly. And then we gather data to test the predictions. And of course, we will be refining, altering, expanding, or rejecting this hypothesis based on the outcomes that we are receiving. Then we develop general theories. We create general models. Okay, this man will always walk towards the left side when an auto comes. This girl will always shout when I'm going to pinch her. So all these are models. These are all general theories, hypotheses, which are developed based on our observations and our experiments. And then again, we will make observations. So the entire cycle will keep continuing. Ideally, this is how it is supposed to work. Ideally, the scientific method is going to work like this without having any sort of a disturbance in between. But unfortunately, we have biases. What is a bias? A bias is a preference or an inclination, especially one that inhibits impartial judgment. If you want to look at it in a very simple form, it is basically raga and dvesha. The moment you have raga or dvesha, you are going to have some kind of a disturbance in your scientific method. You are no longer going to be rational. So if you go to the Yoga Sutras of Maharishi Patanjali, he is talking about this very beautifully. He is talking about only 5 different kleshas which are going to hinder proper understanding of the world. So he's saying that avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, only 5. These 5 alone he is talking about. Avidya means ignorance. I mean, I'm not going to develop on it. Here, avidya does not refer to Maya. Please don't misunderstand. Yoga is a separate shastram. It has its own definitions of what is what. Advaita Vedanta has a different way of looking at this. We are not going to look at the Advaita Vedanta's definition of avidya. Here, avidya means literally ignorance, wrongfully assuming that you are Prakriti. Asmita, because of that, there is some kind of an I-ness. There is some identity which is being created, wrong identity. Raga, that is attachment. Dvesha, some kind of hatred. And Abhinivesha, some kind of fear that comes because of attachment. I don't want to leave this body, so I am afraid towards the end of my life. That is the best definition that is given in the commentaries to the Yoga Sutra. So basically, these 5 kleshas are basically you look at raga and dvesha, because in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna is directly talking about raga and dvesha. In fact, a few years ago, I think I developed a model which talked about the entire system, this from avidya up until Nashana. How do you look at it? Maybe later I will share it with Vishaliji or anybody here in the group so that you can read more about it. Anyway, it's a model. So we have these biases. What are these biases? So in the image there, it is a somewhat comprehensive image which tries to showcase about 170 to 180 different biases that we have, which have been identified by psychologists and philosophers from the West. So there is one bias, there are some 42 biases which are coming because of too much of information. There are about 62 biases because there are not enough meaning is being presented. And then there are 53 biases which are generated because of the need to act fast, because of the time limitations. And then what should we remember is one thing which we have to think of. And because of this, there are 31 different biases. And because of these biases, the scientific method is disturbed. As I told you, when you have raga and dvesha, our decision-making skill is not very good. We are not able to take the best decision when we are affected by the kleshas or the raga and dvesha. So wherever you see that there is a process, there will be this red-colored thunderbolt which is coming and disturbing us and preventing us from taking the right decision. So when you go to the tools that they use for addressing these different biases, in the West, they have started developing theories over the past 150 to 200 years. And initially, they had something known as linear thinking. Then they had something known as lateral thinking. So lateral thinking was developed somewhat about 100 years ago. About 70 years ago, I believe. Then later in the 1970s, 80s, there's some new topic which came, that is critical thinking. And then later, now recently, they started thinking about a new concept known as systems thinking. Of course, I'm not going to elaborate on what are these different types of thinking. But suffices to say that these are all slowly developing theories of how to understand the world around us. Of course, these are not considered to be directly linked to spirituality or philosophy, but we should understand that once we understand how to think properly, we can function much better in the worldly life. And obviously, when we are able to function very nicely in the Vyavaharika, automatically we'll be able to move more closer to Paramarthika in a very easy manner. That is what we should remember. So that is why we have this lateral thinking, critical thinking, systems thinking, linear thinking. Then now there's a new model known as holistic thinking. All these different models have been developed over the past few decades, and we should be made aware of this. Once we try to understand this better, our own Shastras will make more sense to us. The reason I'm saying this is a lot of these concepts have not been considered to be related to Shastra because they think that it is from a foreigner, so we will not study. We should be unbiased. That is what is the intention. When we are unbiased, we are able to take decisions properly without raga and dvesha. So in the same way, when we look at the Western philosophers, the way they are trying to present all these concepts, we will be able to understand the depth to which our Shastras are able to reveal to us so many different concepts. So when we go forward, we see that there are certain things which our own indigenous Bharatiya Acharyas have given us so many solutions. And what are these solutions? So before we move into the solutions approach, we should understand how language is very important for us. For all of us, all humans, even though we say that we are thinking animals, or maybe social animals, or maybe some kind of animals which are extremely sapient or intellectual, for us, language is the most important tool that we use, because whatever is there on the outside, that reality is tangible. It has some kind of a existence which can be touched and felt with all the five sense organs. Our jnanendriyas can immediately feel whatever is there on the outside. Even the karmendriyas can feel whatever is there on the outside. And this perception, that process of perception, involves an outer reality being in touch with the inside of our body. So that is the indriyas and the manas. And when we move towards the next step, that is the mental side, when we have the mind, which is actually trying to create a concept map inside. There is a map which is created. There is a model which is created. This model is inside and it is intangible. You cannot touch and feel it. I cannot take it out and show you. So the moment you ask me, what do you think about this kind of a new restaurant which opened up in the next street? If you ask me this, I cannot take it out and give you directly. I cannot take it out like a chip and put it inside your mouth so that you can understand everything. So it is intangible. I have to use language to represent whatever thoughts I have. So basically, it is a linguistic representation. Language maps reality. So whichever person you go and ask, they will ultimately finally say that language maps reality. So if language is mastered, only then we will be able to represent reality much better. And therefore, in order to understand how to move forward, we have to study this specific tool which we have been handed down by our ancestors. This is called Padavakya Pramana Shastra. There are three different Shastras here: Pada Shastra, Vakya Shastra, and Pramana Shastra. Pada Shastra refers to the Shastra dealing with words. So we have Vyakarana and Nirukta. Vyakarana, there used to be so many Vyakaranas. There used to be Nava Vyakaranas, but only one Vyakarana exists now. It survives. Nirukta. Also, there were several Acharyas in Nirukta, but only Yaska Nirukta has survived. In Vakya Shastra, we have something known as Purva Mimamsa, which has been given to us by Maharshi Jaimini, and it has been developed by Kumarila Bhatta and all those other people, Prabhakara, all those other people have developed it. Kumarila Bhatta's Purva Mimamsa version alone is what we are currently following, irrespective of which Sampradaya we belong to. We are all following some part of Purva Mimamsa in our everyday life. We don't know it, but it is all being practiced. Whichever Acharya you go and ask for your Sandeha Nivarana, they will use Purva Mimamsa, which has been developed by Kumarila Bhatta, and only explain to you what it is all about. Anyway, the final one is called Pramana Shastra. Pramana Shastra is what is called Nyaya Shastra or Tarka Shastra. So this Pramana Shastra is basically an attempt to understand reality using the different means of valid knowledge. So before we go ahead, we should understand how Padavakya Pramana Shastra is so important for us, that it is the main tool which has been used for making sure that all the literary corpus, the knowledge corpus that has been handed down to us, does not die. So there are 7 textual maintenance or renewal mechanisms which are being used. What does this mean? We have so much of literature, so many things. We have Shruti, we have so many texts in Smriti. In Smriti also we have so many Shastras. We have Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra, Kama Shastra. We have so many things in Moksha Shastra. We have 64 Kalas. We have the Darshanas. We have Vedangas. We have Upavedas. We have Itihasa. Then Purana. In Purana, we have Upapurana. And then Upapurana also has another Upapurana. So there are so many different texts that we have. How do they survive? It is because of the textual maintenance or renewal mechanisms. So we have commentaries, we have recensions, redactions, adaptations, translations, popular expositions, that are Katha, Pravachana, Parampara, then finally recreations. I will not dwell more on this. The only thing I am trying to imply here is that in order to go further ahead so that we can move to the next generation. From this generation, if the text has to survive, the knowledge has to survive in the form of a text to the next generation, the best solution is to take up the tool of Padavakya Pramana Shastra. And when you look at Pramana Shastra itself, there are 3 ways in which we can use it. I'm only going to show you 3 ways. There are actually many ways. Only going to give you a taste of this. It is like when you're going to do your puja, you're going to take the grasa mudra and you're going to show a little bit only to the Devata. We're not going to give everything. The Devata won't be able to eat it fully. We're only going to give a little bit just to show. That's what I'm going to do now to you. We'll just look at 3 sections, that is observing the world, conceptualizing the world, and how to represent the world. When we look at observing the world, there are 3 important elements that are very important for us. These are Prama, Pramata, and Pramana. All 3 words seem very similar, but let us look at the meaning. Prama means true, valid knowledge. True knowledge or valid cognition. Whatever is truth, that is known as Prama. In South Indian languages, we still use the word Prama in different forms to refer to consciousness or our ability to be conscious. In fact, the word Prama refers to true knowledge. It's not directly referring to consciousness at all. So, consciousness is associated with Chetana. The word Prama
Excuse
has
me,
to be
Abhinavji.
used.
Ek minute.
Yes.
Every member, please mute your audio. Lot of disturbances coming. Hemaji, kindly mute your audio.
Okay.
You can continue now.
So,
Thank you.
The word Chetana should not be seen as synonymous with Prama because the word Prama refers to true knowledge and valid cognition. There are different definitions for it also. The word Prama has been defined as Yatharthanubhava Prama, Tattvanubhava Prama, so many different definitions. And then Pramata refers to the one who knows. That is the Atma inside. The Atma, Jivatma, Purusha, Drashta, whatever word you want, you can use. And this Pramata is the knower, one who knows. The Manas is not the knower, somebody who sees the Manas. So as Sushrutha ji actually mentioned, there are so many things which have been mentioned in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. He made a reference. It actually is a reference to that one seer who is behind the mind and who sees everything that the Manas is seeing. The one who sees is not to be confused with what is seen or what is seen. So there's a difference. This Pramata, knower, one who knows, there is a definition. There are many definitions, but I've given only the simplest definition. Praminoti iti Pramata. One who knows is called the Pramata. And then there is the word Pramana. This word Pramana has been used or abused in several different ways, different languages. So for example, the word Pramana has been used to refer to making a promise. So in fact, Pramana does not mean making a promise. I will tell you in what context the word Pramana is used for making a promise. But anyway, Pramana here refers to means or a source of valid knowledge. Means or source of valid knowledge. Prama sadhanam pramanam. One which generates Prama is called Prama. One which achieves or attains Prama is called Pramana. Prama karanam pramanam. Samyak anubhava sadhanam pramanam. The different definitions are given. So many different Nyaya Shastra texts are given different definitions. When you look at Pramana itself, there are 4 means of valid knowledge according to Nyaya Shastra. Of course, when you go to Yoga Shastra, they'll say only there are 3. But we are going to look at the opinion of Nyaya Shastra. If you go to Advaita Vedanta, they'll say 6. They'll say 6 Pramanas are there. No, we're not going to go look at that. We're only looking at these 4 because these 4 are more than sufficient to understand everything. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, and Shabda. These are the 4 different Pramanas. How do we understand this? Let us look at it very simply. Pratyaksha means direct perception. Indriyartha Sannikarshaha. I'm directly perceiving it using my sense organ. The moment I look at a pizza, the moment I touch a pizza, the moment I taste it, all these are direct experiences of the pizza. So this is direct perception. This is Pratyaksha Pramana of the pizza. What is Anumana? It is inference. It is Linga Paramarshaha. I will not explain Linga Paramarsha. It's a very long process. Let us look at it in a very simple way. There is the picture of the nose there on the slide. So, say for example, I know how a pizza smells. I have gone to a pizzeria and I know how it smells. So, the moment I go to a new pizzeria, some other place, I go to some other place and I am able to smell something which is very similar. And using my memory, I am able to immediately decide that yes, this is the smell which I got when there was a pizza in front of me for the first time, just a few days ago. Today also the same smell is coming. I know for sure that whenever there is pizza, there is going to be this smell of a pizza. Therefore, this smell is a pizza smell. So I am able to infer that this is a pizza. So this is Anumana. You can call it pizza Anumana. And before one can be called pizza Pratyaksha, something like that. Then the third one is called Upamana. So this is called analogy. So the definition here is Prasiddha Dharmyat Sadhya Sadhanam. It's not very complicated, very simple. You can see the picture of a dosa here, masala dosa. So say for example, there is some person, say for example, I am in a forest for some 20 years and I'm coming to the city for the first time. And somebody is coming and asking me, do you know where the pizzeria, the pizza shop is? I tell you, what is this pizza? I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. Can you tell me what this is? So that person will probably try to say, do you know what a dosa is? Yes, I know. Do you know how a masala dosa looks? Yes, I know. You take a dosa, spread the masala all over it on the top, and you look at it, it looks like a pizza. So, I mean, of course, it's a very bad example, but still, let's just make do with it. So a dosa which has masala all over it, it looks like a pizza. So this is what I'm saying. Looks like, is like. So that is like is that concept of analogy. This is pizza upamana. The fourth one is verbal testimony, words uttered by a trustworthy person. Aptavakyam shabdaha. So I'm going to say for example, somebody is coming and asking me, can I use this, can I go to this restaurant to eat the pizza? I say, yes, you can go eat. This pizza is good. The moment I say this pizza is good, he will take my word for it and he'll go and eat that. So which means that this is pizza shabda or pizza shop shabda. I'm giving you some kind of a reliable information that you can eat here. You will not get some kind of indigestion if you go there. So this is pramana. These are the four different types of pramana which are accepted by Nyaya Shastra. Pizza, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, and Shabda. So we have four pramanas, and that is regarding understanding the world. So the second step I told you was conceptualizing the world. So we are going to use a concept known as reductionism. Reductionism means you're going to model the world using simple components. We are not going to use big components. We're going to simplify everything. We're going to simplify it in the form of entities and relations between them. When I say entities, they can be objects, they can be actions, they can be attributes. Attributes means there are certain adjectives that you're going to use. So how will you be able to, how will you understand this? How do you conceptualize what you can see on the screen? There is something which is being presented to you on the screen. There is a white colored plate on which there is a pizza. So how will you explain this? Each of us will have a different way of explaining this. For example, if you're going to represent the different aspects of what you saw in the previous slide, if you're going to talk about the properties of the object, you might talk about the color, taste, smell, temperature of the pizza, different properties. If you're going to talk about the steps in making the pizza, you might be talking about what are the ingredients you're going to use and what are the kitchen equipment you're going to use. Then you might be able to talk about the relationship between the pizza and the plate. So pizza is being supported and the supporter is the plate. You might be able to talk about all of this. All of these things are present as simplified models inside our minds. So all these models, these different ways of representing the world in front of us is being presented by Nyaya Shastra. It uses a very specific language to present all of this. And when we look at the conceptual categorization in Nyaya Shastra or Tarka Shastra, it's a very different way. They are looking at padarthas. The entire universe is made out of individual elements which are called padarthas. And these padarthas are of two types, it seems. Bhava padartha, abhava padartha. Bhava padartha means existing element. Abhava padartha means absent element. I mean, it seems very unique to look at bhava and abhava. And we should understand that these are very unique technical terminologies being used. In the bhava padartha section, they are talking about 6 things which are dravya, meaning all matter. Guna means all properties. Karma, meaning all actions. Samanya, meaning which are all common for everything. Vishesha, meaning that which is unique. And Samavaya, meaning some inherent property which cannot be separated. I will repeat once again. Dravya means all matter. Guna means all properties. Karma means all actions. Samanya means that which is common to everything. Vishesha means which is very unique. Samavaya means there is an inherent connection which cannot be broken. Say for example, the color of cheese cannot be separated from the cheese. But if there is some one piece of vegetable, some piece of corn on top of cheese, you can remove it from the cheese. They both can be separated from each other. But the cheese, the color of the cheese cannot be separated from the cheese. Abhava means that which is representing absence. And this specific language is used to explain everything. And with that, they are going to represent the world. And so there, when we are representing the world, there are two important aspects which we need to know. Lakshana and Lakshya. Lakshana means the definition. Lakshya means that which is defined, that is definitum. That's a technical word. You can just say what is defined is called Lakshya. Of course, the word Lakshya is used in a different context in our everyday language. Lakshya means destination according to our colloquial language. But here, Lakshya means that which is defined. In fact, in Tamil, we use the same words for referring to some other concept. Lakshana is called Ilakkana. Lakshya is called Ilakya. So that's a different word. That is something to do with Tamil grammar. We will not be going to that. I believe there's an entire chapter dedicated to this in Tolgapiyam. I will not be talking about it here. Anyway, definition. When you look at definition of definition, we see that it is called asadharana dharmaha swarupam itara bhedakam. Basically, what they're saying is something that is unique to it. No, nothing else has the same properties. That is lakshana. Lakshya means lakshanaya bodhyaha. That which is being explained using the lakshana is called lakshya. So, a pizza can be defined very specifically using all of these different elements. We can just use temperature, dimension, number, and mass, color. All this can be used to define a pizza. But before we make a lakshana for a pizza, we should remember, not just for a pizza, for understanding in general, we should remember that there are three doshas, three faults which have to be avoided when we are creating a lakshana, a definition. The first fault is called avyapti. Second one is called ativyapti. Third one is called asambhava. Avyapti means narrow. Ativyapti means over application. Asambhava means non-application. I know it doesn't make any sense, but let me give you an example. How do we define a pizza? Of course, I know that we are close to the dinner time. Please don't be carried away by the way the thing looks on the screen. It is not real. It is only mithya. Please don't eat it. We'll move to the next step. When I'm going to define a pizza, if I'm going to say that anything that is circular has something brown on the bottom and has certain toppings on top of it, it is a pizza, then it will be a problem because a cookie can also be defined as a pizza with that definition. It is brown. It has certain things as toppings on the top. It is also round, almost round. So, it is called ativyapti. When a definition cannot be applied only for the desired object, the target object, but also to something else if it is being applied, then it is called ativyapti. What about avyapti? There is one peculiar habit in California, it seems. Pizza has this pineapple flavor. So you ask for a pineapple pizza, they will put pineapple and cheese on it and then give you. It doesn't sound very nice to many people, but it is there. So the moment somebody asks you for a definition of a pizza, if you say that it has cheese and it has pineapple on it, it means that it is only confined to one different or one small population of pizzas. It's just one variety of pizzas. What about the margarita pizza? What about some other pizza which is made out of vegetables? What about those pizzas? So you are limiting the definition to only one part of the target object, whatever you want to define. So that is called avyapti. Now for the concept of asambhava. Say for example, I'm saying there is a pizza. I'm going to define that a pizza is that which is eaten with coconut chutney. Doesn't even sound real. It cannot be possible. Nobody will do it. Nobody will attempt to do this mahapataka. So we know that this is asambhava. It can never happen. This is called asambhava. Then later you might be able to define that which is round in shape, that which is having a proper carbohydrate base, and then you have certain cheese on top. On top of that, you have vegetables and the spices, which can be cut into 6 pieces or 8 pieces based on the interest of the person. All this you can add as a definition. So now we understand that there are 3 important defects of defining. So those 3 are avyapti, ativyapti, and asambhava. Avyapti means narrow application. Only small part of the target object is being defined. The rest of the population is left out. Ativyapti means there is over application. It can apply for, the definition can apply for things other than the target object. Asambhava means it can never be applied. This is called asambhava. So now we have conclusions, because I think I have come close to the end of my presentation. We have Nyaya Shastra or Tarka Shastra, which is used for logical analysis. And it is used for, it presents a unique way of classifying and categorizing the world around us. In fact, if you go deeper, you will understand that there is a concept of interconnectedness which is being presented. And this is precisely why we have so many commentaries and so many Shastra Granthas which are able to present the principles of so many Acharyas in a proper way. And there is the concept of causality. Causality means Karya Karana Sambandha. Karya Karana Sambandha means cause-effect relationship. When you talk about cause and effect, if you have money, you can buy pizza. If you don't have money, of course, you will say, I will use UPI, I will use Paytm, all that. I'm talking about a situation where you don't have your phone also. If you don't have money, you can't buy pizza. As simple as that. So causality, cause-effect relationship, all that is being presented beautifully in Nyaya Shastra. And when you look at Nyaya Shastra, there is a concept of feedback and complexity. When I say feedback, I mean that it is not one textual tradition. It is actually a very active tradition. It was in the form of a debate. See, whatever is written does not mean that it is existing only in a book. Whatever has been presented in the real world is only presented in the form of literature. So therefore, we understand that the feedback was also taken. Whatever argument was raised by some other scholar was also taken up, and it was also implemented in the next text. When they were refining and revising the text, they would include this and update the text so that the Shastra will be alive all the time. So there are certain people in the West who say that Sanskrit is a dead language. They say that the intellectual tradition of Bharata or Bharatiya Jnana Parampara is dead. In fact, they don't understand what is happening here. We still use Nyaya Shastra to revive everything. We use the system of debate, the traditional Vakyartha system or the Shastrartha system to keep everything alive. And because there is a lot of feedback, there is a lot of complexity. If you're going to take the text of Appai Dikshita, you will see that there is a lot of connection that he's going to make with other texts. If you take the simplest of the simplest, first commentary text written by Adi Shankaracharya, that is the Bhashya he wrote for the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, you will notice how many different lessons he's going to give you from different Shastra Granthas. He's going to take lessons from Vyakarana. He's going to take lessons from Nirukta. He's going to take lessons from Swara Shastra. He's going to take so many different traditions and he's going to present it there. So that is the beauty of Nyaya Shastra. Because he was a master in Nyaya Shastra, he was able to do it. And because it is able to give that feedback and complexity as part of the entire tradition, we understand that it gives you a holistic perspective. It's a complete whole which is being presented. It's not broken down into smaller things. And to conclude, finally, we understand that understanding of the world, conceptualizing of the world, and then functioning in the world requires proper thinking. But when we are thinking, there are these biases which are going to reduce the possibility of optimal outcomes. And critical thinking strategies in the form of Nyaya Shastra, Tarka Shastra, they reduce the probability of these suboptimal outcomes. And better thinking strategies will help us for Vyavaharika and Paramarthika goals. Therefore, there is a need to study Nyaya Shastra and apply whatever we learn from Nyaya Shastra in the real world. With that, I close. Thank you so much. Dhanyavadaha. I will close with the Guru Vandanam here. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you. Namaste.
Dhanyavadaha, Dr. Abhinav ji. Our ancestors, Rishis, Mahans had preserved precious treasures of knowledge, and scholars like you are imparting that knowledge to us. We are all simple, normal people, and we are very happy to have you today, today's program. Thank you so much, Abhinav ji. Thank you. Now the group is open for question answer session for a few minutes. If anyone wants to ask questions, please do so.
Hari Om, Namaste. Aham Kala Asmi. Shrueteva? Am I audible?
Yes,
Hari
yes,
Om.
Ji.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah. Aham Kala Asmi. Tamil Bhashaya va Angla Bhashaya va eva vadami. லாஸ்ட் மீட்டிங்லயே நான் வந்து சொல்லியிருந்தேன், லதா ஸ்ரீதர் பகினி வந்து தூத வாக்கிய விஷய உக்தவதி ரொம்ப ஐ வாஸ் சோ ஓவர்வெல்ம்டு. இந்த இந்த இதுல வந்து ஐ வாஸ் வெரி ஈகர்லி வெயிட்டிங் ஃபார் த தர்க்க சாஸ்திரம் விஷய ஞாபகம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஆவலா இருந்தேன். இப்போ என்னோட ஒவ்வொரு ஒவ்வொரு இந்த மாதிரி விஷயம் அட்டன் பண்ணச்செல்லாம் நான் என்ன நினைப்பேன்னா, இன்னும் 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 நம்ம பரம்பரை மேலேயும் நம்ம பூர்வஜர்களோட ஞானத்து மேலேயும் இருக்கிற மரியாதையும் ஆச்சரியமும் அப்படியே பன்மடங்கு பெருகின்றே போறது ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும். நான் நிறைய விஷயம் சொல்லணும்னு ஆசைப்படுறேன், பட் நிச்சயமா டைம்ங்கிறது பிராக்டிக்கலா விவகாரிக்க திருஷ்டியா அதுவும் பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கு. மாதங்கி பகினி வந்து ரொம்ப அழகா she gave herself to the comparing. அது என்ன அனுபவப்பட்டாங்கிறத ரொம்ப அழகா சொன்னா. கௌஸ்துபோட ஸ்லோகம் கேட்டு நான் அப்படியே மயங்கி போயிட்டேன், அவ்வளோ நல்லா இருந்தது. அண்ட் சுஷ்ருதா ஜியோட பகவத்கீதா கேட்ட அந்த ஷேரிங் அண்ட் கிவிங் அதுல இருக்கிற டிஃபரன்ஸ். சி, எந்த சாஸ்திரம் எடுத்தாலும் அதோட அல்டிமேட் பிரயோஜனம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, நம்மளோட டெய்லி லைஃப்ல அதை எந்த அளவுக்கு இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்றோம் அப்படிங்கிறது. ஸோ இந்த ஒரு விஷயம் ஷேரிங் அண்ட் கிவிங், இந்த இன்னைக்கு நான் வந்து எதையாவது யாருக்காவது கொடுக்கச்சே நான் ஷேரிங் கிவிங்கா கொடுக்க மாட்டேன், ஷேரிங்கா கொடுப்பேன். ஒரு விஷயம் தி ஹோல் லைஃப் இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற 24 hours நாட் எல்லா சந்தர்ப்பத்திலயும் இல்லை, ஏதாவது ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பத்துல ஐ பி கான்சியஸ் when I give something to somebody, I'll fully share it with him, not give it to him அப்படின்னு ஒரு இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு விஷயம் நம்ம எடுத்துட்டோம்னா கூட நம்ம டெய்லி லைஃப்ல வந்து நிறைய சேஞ்சஸ் கொண்டு வர முடியும். இப்போ என்ன இந்த தர்க்க சாஸ்திரம் அவர் நிறைய விஷயம் சொன்னார். இது எப்படின்னா, ஒரு பெரிய ஓஷன் எதிர நின்னுண்டு ஒரு சின்ன எறும்பு வந்து அதை பார்த்து ஆச்சரியப்படுற மாதிரி இருந்தது. அதை நம்ம டெய்லி லைஃப்ல கொண்டு வரணும், எப்படி அது பிரயோஜனப்படும். அவர் நிறைய விஷயம் சொன்னார். கொஞ்சம் பூர்வம் தர்க்க சாஸ்திரத்துக்கு ஒரு இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன் இருந்தா அது ரொம்ப நல்லா என்ஜாய் பண்ண முடியும். நான் என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, இப்போ அவர் அவித்யா, அஸ்மிதா, ராகத்வேஷ, அபினிவேஷ அந்த விஷயத்துல சொன்னார். இப்ப ஒண்ணு வேண்டாம், அது எப்படி நம்ம ப்ராக்டிக்கல் லைஃபோட அப்ரோச் பண்ண முடியும், எப்படி தர்க்க சாஸ்திரத்தோட நாலேஜோ அதோட இம்ப்ளிமெண்டேஷனோட நம்ம ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆஃப் லைஃபை இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னா, ஒண்ணும் வேண்டாம். இப்ப நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு விஷயத்துக்கும் நம்மளுக்கு ப்ரெஜுடிஸ் இருக்கு, எல்லா விஷயத்தை பத்தியும் நம்மளுக்கு ப்ரெஜுடிஸ் இருக்கு. எப்ப நம்மளுக்கு வந்து ஒவ்வொரு க்ஷணத்திலயும் நம்ம ஒரு விஷயத்தை அப்ரோச் பண்ணச்சே, இதுல எனக்கு அவித்யா இருக்கு, ஐ எம் இக்னரண்ட் ஆஃப் திஸ் ஃபேக்ட் ஆர் திஸ் மேட்டர், ஆர் இந்த விவகார விஷயத்துல எனக்கு அவித்யா இருக்கு, இல்ல அஸ்மிதா இருக்கு, அப்புறம் வந்து ராகத்வேஷம் இருக்கு, ஓ எனக்கு இது பிடிச்சதால நான் இவ்வளவு பயஸ்டா இருக்கேன், எனக்கு பிடிக்காததால நான் அதை பத்தி இன்வால்மெண்ட் இல்லாம இருக்கேன் அப்படிங்கிறது பயம். அதே மாதிரி அஜ்ஞானத்தாலதான் பயம் வருது. சோ நம்ம ரொம்ப டீப்பா போக வேண்டாம், பெரிய ஆச்சாரியர்கள் லெவலுக்கு போக முடியாது, போகவும் வேண்டாம். ஆனா இதனாலதான் என் முடிவு தப்பா இருக்கவும் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஞானம் இருந்தா நம்ம ரொம்ப ஹம்பிள் ஆயிடுவோம். அப்ப நம்மளுக்கு வந்து நான் சொல்றதுதான் கரெக்டுங்கிற எண்ணம் வரவே வராது. ஏன்னா ஒவ்வொரு விஷயத்துக்கும் ஒரு காயினுக்கு 2 பக்கம்னு சொல்லுவா, நான் எப்பவுமே சொல்லுவேன் ஒரு காயினுக்கு 1000 பக்கம் இருக்கும். சோ அந்த 1000 பக்கமும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறது எனக்கு பாசிபிளா இந்த ஜென்மத்துல தெரியாது. ஸோ நம்ம சாஸ்திரங்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப லைஃப் ரிலேட்டட். மீதி சாஸ்திரம் எல்லாம் மாதிரி வந்து இப்ப ஃபாரின்ல எல்லாம் போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, வேற கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல ரொம்ப ரீசெண்டா டெவலப் ஆன சைக்காட்ரி அதுல எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, அந்த கவுன்சிலிங் கொடுக்குற டாக்டருக்கே அந்த பிரச்சனை இருக்கும், டிப்ரெஷன் இருக்கும். நம்மளோடது அப்படி கிடையாது. யார் வந்து நிஜமாவே வாழ்க்கையில அந்த ஞானத்தை அப்ளை பண்ணி அந்த மாதிரி ஆச்சாரிகள் தான் நம்மளுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி விஷயத்த சொன்னான். சோ அஸ்யாம் சபாயாம் அகமப்பி உபஸ்திதா அஸ்மி இதி அகம் மகாந்தம் ஆனந்தம் அனுபவாமி கர்வம் அனுபவாமி. அதாவது கிடாம்பி மகோதயா மாதிரி யாராவது நம்மளோட இந்த ஞானத்தை ஷேர் பண்ணிக்க அவர் தயாரா இருந்ததே நம்மளோட பாக்கியம். இந்த ஒரு கிளாஸ் போறாது, இவர் இந்த கிளாஸ்ல சொன்ன விஷயத்த 10 கிளாஸ்ல சொன்னாதான் நம்மளால அதுல 10% புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அண்ட் ரெஃபரன்சஸ் அப்படியே கடலா கொற்றாரு அவர் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் எல்லாம். அப்ப அவர் எவ்வளவு படிச்சிருக்கணும், அவரோட இந்த சின்ன வயசுலயே அவரோட ஒரு டோட்டல் லைஃபே இந்த ஸ்டடீஸ்க்கு கொடுத்துருக்கணும். எனக்கு நான் விட்டா பேசிட்டே போவேன். ரொம்ப 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 சந்தோஷம், மகாந்தம் சந்தோஷம் அனுபவாமி. தன்யவாதக தன்யவாதக சர்வேபியக தன்யவாதக. மகா சவினயம் பிரணமாமி, சபாம் சவினயம் பிரணயாமி, புனக புனக பிரணமாமி. தன்யவாதக.
தன்யவாதக மாதா. ஒரு ஸ்பீச் வந்து நமக்கு புரிஞ்சது அப்படிங்கறத விட ஒரு நல்ல ஃபீட்பேக் வந்து இன்னும் இந்த ஸ்பீச்சை பத்தி நம்மள சிந்திக்க வைக்கும். அது என்னைக்குமே அதை நான் யோசிச்சிருக்கேன். ஸோ தேங்க்யூ சோ மச். தன்யவாதக மாதா. Savithri, धन्यवाद मत देंगे. Savithri ji studied in Bhashyam Samskrita Shikshana Kendram in Mahadanapuram, Karur district. Had finished Patrachar course in Samskrita Bharati, cleared 4 exams. Now teaching Sanskrit spoken classes. Interested in studying granthas like Bhagavad Gita, Amarakosham, Tarkamritam. Swagatam, Savithri ji.
Namaskaraha. Shruyate va? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Bhagini, vadatu.
Namasabhaye, namassarvebhyascha. Asyam sabhayam sarvesham agamanartham aham santushtavati bhavami. Evam धन्यवादः अस्मिन् कार्यक्रमस्य सञ्चालिकारूपेण आगता अस्ति श्रीमती मातंगी सुरेश माता. धन्यवादः माता, सच फ्लॉलेस एंकरिंग. धन्यवादः. एवं प्रार्थना वक्तुं कुमारी निरंजना विघ्नेश, सुभाषितं वक्तुं श्री एन रामकृष्णन जी, श्लोकं वक्तुं चिरंजीवी कौस्तुभ, शांति मंत्रम शिवकुमार.
Savithri, sorry to interrupt, ma. Some background noise is too much, ma.
Yeah, wait, 1 minute. Is it okay now?
Yes.
सर्वेषां कृते धन्यवादं प्रकटयामि. भगवद्गीता विषये अस्मान् बोधितवान् अस्ति डॉक्टर सुश्रुता जी महोदयाय अपि धन्यवादं प्रकटयामि. अस्मिन् कार्यक्रमस्य मुख्य अतिथिरूपेण आगतोऽस्ति श्री अभिनव जी. तर्कशास्त्रस्य विषये उत्तमतया सरलतया च उक्तवान् अस्ति. पुनः धन्यवादः जी. एवम् आगतवन्तानां सर्वेषां कृते धन्यवादं प्रकटयामि. धन्यवादः. थैंक यू ऑल.
धन्यवादः सावित्री. थैंक यू सो मच. अस्य कार्यक्रमस्य सफलतायाः निरन्तर प्रयत्नार्थं विशाली जी, शिवकुमार जी, मुरली जी और सुंदरकृष्णन जी इत्यस्मै धन्यवादः ददामि. Have a wonderful weekend. Shubha Ratri. Thank you.
Shanti mantra, Sivakumar ji.
Oh.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaः, Sarve Santu Niramayāः, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaccit Dukkhabhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar.
Ariyo, would like to hear more from Kadambi Mahodaya. Dhanyavadaha, dhanyavadaha, dhanyavadaha.
You can stop the recording and then discuss.
Vaishali Bhagini. இல்ல, எக்ஸலண்ட் சாய்ஸ், எக்ஸலண்ட் சாய்ஸ். அதான் இன்னும் அவரோடது நிறைய செஷன்ஸ் இது ரொம்ப ஐ திங்க் பூர்வமேவ இதோட பரிச்சயம் இருந்தாதான் இதை வந்து ரொம்ப என்ஜாய் பண்ண முடியும். இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அவர் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அவர் இவ்வளவுதான் கொடுக்க முடியும். ரொம்ப கேப்சூல் ஃபார்ம்ல ரொம்ப அழகா கொடுத்தார். பட் அந்த 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 டயத்துக்குள்ள ஸ்டிப்புலேட்டட் டயத்துக்குள்ள சொல்லணுங்கிறதால இது இந்த விஷயத்தை புரிஞ்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா இன்னும் நிறைய தேவை. ஒரு சீரீஸ் ஆஃப் லெக்சர்ஸ் பகவத்கீதா மாதிரி கூட நீங்க வைக்கலாம். ஒரு சின்ன சஜஷன்.
Definitely. And one second, we will stop the recording. Sivakumar ji, can you please stop the recording?
Madam, Vishali madam, there was an issue here. Current destination and other things happened. I requested Murali ji to do the thing.
Murali ji?
ஒரு நிமிஷம் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா சார்? ஹலோ
ஹலோ, எஸ்,
Murali ji, stop பண்ணிடுங்க recording.
ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டா? ஓகே,
ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
ஓகே, ஐ வில் டு.
Thank you, sir.